Ladies and gentlemen, it's the third round of the FIDE Olympiad, and it's happening in Budapest, as you all know. But the Olympiad is going crazy, especially for Team India. Now, from the past two videos, I've been covering on Team India only, and obviously, I will be doing only that because obviously, as an Indian content creator, I will cover all the games on my Indian team. So yesterday's games were amazing. Like they were just like yeah, they were just cool. In the women's section as well, like the women team won against Switzerland. Here is a spoiler for you. Women's team won against Switzerland, and men's team won against what's the team name? I really forgot the team name. I'm so sorry. Hungry Bee. Sorry, I'm my bad. My mistake. Don't sue me, Hungry. Don't sue me. So Hungry Bee. So Indian team once again, and by the way, men's team are undefeated currently. Like they're just playing some absolute beast level chess. And today I'm going to be sharing with you the round three games of uh, of both the men's as well as the women's section. But now before I get in right into it, yesterday I guess yesterday one I guess Hari Krishna. Oh, sorry, not Hari. I guess Hari Krishna. Yeah, Hari Krishna didn't play it. I think Hari Krishna got rest. Was under rest, and instead Pragnananda played, and on Gukesh. I mean Gukesh is already playing, and in the women's section, um, Vaishali Ramesh Babu is back, and and also yeah, I guess Vaishali Ramesh Babu indeed played, and Tanya Sachdev got rested. But it's even though the team players are changing, the results aren't changing. So I won't be, taking much of your time in the intro. I'm so sorry. Let's just jump right into it. So the first game is of Gukesh. He's playing with the white pieces against Adam Kozak, who is a very strong player. Hungary B team is very strong. Yesterday, Indian team were facing some great strong opponents, but yeah, even Indian team is currently performing at their best. So yeah, D4 started off with Gukesh. Started off by Gukesh. D4, knight f6, c4, e6. So this is an Indian game. Now knight f3. You play bishop b4, knight d2, and now d5. So black is tracking in the center, but already white got the 2 pawns here, and it's just controlling everything, not nothing. But now you can simply play e3, try to open up the bishop. You can even play a3, b4 ideas. There are some lot of things you can even play. You can even I don't think queen a4 check is quite well because you always have knight c6. But anyways, these are the ideas when you play an Indian game, Indian opening. You just play this. So queen a4 check was indeed played, knight to c6, and now e3. So e3 has been played now, and as I said earlier, opening up the bishop, defending this pawn. You can maybe try to go with b3, bishop b2 ideas in the future. There are a lot of things you can plan on. Black castle, now a3. As I said earlier, a3 is also played, and after takes, knight to e4. So the knight is placed very strongly on e4, and so now rook d1. I'm not sure about this one. What I mean, rook d1 is kind of understandable move, but I mean, I don't know why. But yeah, I mean, I guess you can just go with the bishop d3 ideas following short castle. Knight goes to e7. Now bishop d3 indeed played. B6, trying to go for bishop b7 ideas, Adam, and now queen to c2. Now this is a great move because now you are always keeping an eye on this whole diagonal. You've got a control diagonal, and this knight is under kind of pressure, but you always have f5. So bishop b7, short castle, and now h6. So black is committed now, and white's king is very safe. I mean, black's king is also safe, but now activity wise, black is a little further away from white. So now bishop goes to c1. Now by playing this move, Gukesh is telling to Adam that look, I want this bishop pair. I guess in the previous games as well, he always wanted to keep the bishop pair, and not only Gukesh. I mean, with it, if let's say Arjun, everybody wants to keep the bishop pair throughout the game. So this is what makes the Indian, like this thing, this their games even more stronger. Their playing style. Bishop c1. So now, black goes with a5, trying to start an attack on the queen side, but already b3 is there. You can try defending the a4. You can also, I guess, black can now try to go with c5 ideas, or I'm not sure, but yeah, knight g6 played, and now bishop to b2. Now rerouting the bishop to b2 so that there is some future pressure on this diagonal. Like for now the pawn is there, but you can x-ray through the pawn, and yeah, there are a lot of great plans for white here. Now f5, as I said earlier, that f5 can be played now to you know stabilize this knight on this e4 square particularly. And now a4, and now rook f7. Now I guess the idea is to go I guess either queen f8, or maybe to bring the queen out to d7 and try to go for the double rook stack on this f file. So knight goes to e1, rook to c8, and rook to c8, the idea is, I guess, to go with c5 immediately. I'm not sure. Now f3, very logical move. You want to kick away this knight, right? The knight here is very irritating. You can go to g5. You can even go to f6. F6 looks more of a logical move. So, and black played f6, and now bishop to e2. Bishop to e2. I guess you want to play bishop f. I mean, you want to play f4, and the idea is somewhat in future to go with bishop h5 ideas. Not now because the knight is covering the square, but in future. So queen e8. So this is one mistake. I'm not understanding the logic behind this move. I mean, I guess you want e5 or something, or I'm not sure. But now knight to d3, which is a very good move. You are controlling this e5 square, and now if you see that black already has dark square weaknesses. This square is weak. These squares are weak, and always your bishop can come to a3 to try to control this whole diagonal. There are a lot of things. This square is also kind of weak. Your knight can jump some at some point, and yeah. So also, if you can see, like light squares of black are also kind of weak, because this square is also kind of weak, even though the knight is currently here. But let's say if the knight moves somewhere to e7, let's say, this square is still weak now. So black has a lot of weaknesses, so white has to take the advantage, and he is indeed doing it very slowly. Knight d7, now knight to rook to e1, and then knight to e7. This his plan, Adam's plan is, I guess, to bring this knight to c6 and try to go for try to go for b4 at some point. But I mean, as I said, this square is very weak. Not very weak because it's controlling, but as soon as the knight jumps to c6, and now this square is kind of weak now. So bishop to f1, and now knight to c6, and now this, as I said, this square is weak. This square is weak. This square is already weak, although even though it's controlled by two knights, but still, this square is also weak. You can control here. So bishop a3, indeed very good move by Gukesh. He's controlling the whole diagonal, and now knight to f6, rook to c1. I guess the idea is try to go for takes, or maybe to go for c5, not even takes, but yeah, rook to d7, and now knight to f4. So as I said earlier, this square was weak, knight was controlling. Place this knight here, because the knight was there, because black's knight was on g6, because of which you won't be playing knight f4 earlier, because you won't trade away a good knight, right? So this is now placed here. Queen to f7, and now c5. As I said, c5 idea is there. Maybe white can go for sorry, black can go for b5, or you can take. But rook, I mean, yeah, rook d8 is also logical. You want to go rook f8 at some point, or maybe, I'm not sure. Rook f8 sounds very risky, because you always have takes, and you always have this. So bishop to b5, knight to d7, queen to d2. Now Gukesh is improvising his position very slowly, and which is what makes him a great player. Queen to f6, and now rook to c2, trying to double up the stack here, I guess. Or maybe you can play queen f2 and try to go with queen g3 ideas. Or maybe what you can do is play king h1, try to go for this attack, even though it's risky. But yeah, g5, and now knight to d3. You want to save up this knight for the future attack. You can even, you are still controlling this square, by the way, remember. Knight comes to b8. Like black is now doing some moves, like he's just playing something, because these pieces are worthless, not doing anything in the position. And This is a passive position for black. White has everything planned out. Black is playing without a plan. Rook c1, queen to g7, and now queen to e1. As I said, this whole thing is going to be going to get controlled by this queen, and I guess white is just playing some waiting moves so that he wants black to do something. Already black's position is very doomed. King h8 and now knight to e5 and takes. I guess here instead of knight to e5, I guess what you should have done is, I'm not sure, knight to e5, but something like f4, or I mean f4 is also quite tricky, but yeah, takes and now c6, trying to kick away the bishop, but now bishop comes to d3. um, some diagonal threat. You can always go with g4 idea so that your bishop is opened, and then you can maybe slide your bishop to this b2 square so that you have this whole diagonal under threat always. Rook takes, and a knight to d7, and here a5 falls. Knight takes e5. Now the pawns are getting fall off, but it's still very tricky for black. It's like it's losing completely. Now bishop to f1, rook a8, and now rook c2. What a move this is, by the way. Rook c2, I guess the idea is, let's say after takes, you have queen c1 at targeting this pawn. So knight g6. Now you go bishop b2, as I said that. Now the queen is underpinned. You have to go e5. e5, takes, and now a5. Now this pawn is running. This pawn is running away, and how will you stop this? King to h7, a6, rook to b8, b4 is there. Now b5 is coming. So what else are you going to do now? Like, these two passes are super strong for white, and yeah, it's going to get much trickier for white, so for black now. So queen to a7, and now rook to c5, queen to e7. Like, he's just playing some moves, he's just keeping in pressure on this rook, but it's in vain, because like this is not a easy position to play as black. So rook d8, queen c2, targeting this pawn, e4, and now you take, and you go b5. Remember, this pawn is protected by two defenders. So queen to c7 takes, rook f8. So now this is completely winning. You can even play bishop e5 so that you got two pawns under protection. So bishop b5 indeed played, knight to e7, and now what a move! What a crazy move this is! Rook takes d5. If you take, I have queen takes e4, king to g8, queen g6, and there is no stopping. There's no one stopping you from getting checkmated. So you can't take the rook. What a move by Cookies! Sacrificing the rook, and after rook f7, now queen takes e4. e4 was also hanging with a check, and now after queen d4, black simply resigned the game, because now, I mean, rook d7 is coming, even rook d8 check is also coming. This bishop is almost getting lost, although you have rook f8, but still it's at some point, like, yeah, even though, no, I mean, let's say rook d8, and if you go rook f8, then you get checkmated, and you can't save this bishop. What a game by what a game by Kukesh, and yeah, impressive win, another win by the World Championship challenger. Back to, oops, what happened? I'm so sorry, guys. So anyways, the next game is Arjun Erigasi versus Peter Prohasan, I believe. What's his name? Prohaska. Sorry, not Prohasan. It's Prohaska. And this game, my man Arjun just smothered his opponent. C4. So he started off with the English opening. E6, an interesting line chosen by black. I mean, you play e5 generally, but I guess you play d5. So reverse Karokani, the English opening. So knight c3, d5, d4. Now it's a queen's gambit decline structure, or maybe queen's gambit structure. I guess declined is like if you go c5, or I mean if you take or whatever. So knight f6, knight f3, bishop to e7, takes, everything theory. Now here black played an interesting move on knight h5, attacking the bishop. Bishop will simply run away to d2, not on g3. You won't give away this great bishop. So, and as you know, the whole entire men's team only have one strategy, which is to keep the bishop pair throughout the endgame. Because as we see, all these games they are playing with by keeping those bishop pairs, they are just annihilating their opponent. So because of which Arjun said, I'm going to keep the same strategy. I'm going to go keep my bishop, and after short castles, and now e3 trying to go for try to open up the bishop. You can play bishop d3 and queen c2. Try to go for some, and after knight f6, bishop d3, knight to d7, and now queen c2. So following the same idea which I said earlier, that this is the idea. Now c6, but now my man Arjun goes for it. He just goes for the attack. And by the way, this is not a free pawn if you think, because you have check and you are going to just open up the black's king. So my man Arjun is just, yeah, he's just going for it now. Knight to e4, and now you can play h4, h4, g5, rook g1, trying to go for some attack, and yeah, h4 indeed played by Arjun. Rook to e8, g5, like look at these pawns marching to king side, and now rook g1 might come. So like after long castle, let's say you can even long castle and try to bring your other rook, you know. So f5, which is also a good move. Arjun opposons, and now after knight takes, knight to g5. This knight is well placed because now this knight is like is controlling the square, and this square. I mean, even the bishop is also controlling, but now you have rook g1 ideas, and there are a lot of things Arjun is planning now. So h6, and now you take, and Arjun is simply a pawn up, but he doesn't wants to be a pawn up. He doesn't wants to play for the pawns or maybe some free pieces. He wants to play for this piece. He wants to play for this king. And look at the king's dagger. Look at this. I mean, look at the king. Black's king is completely doomed here. You have so many things coming towards you. Now rook g1 is coming, and I mean, bishop g6 is also good because you are cutting off king square. Although king has these squares, but still it's not going to get easy. So bishop to e6, rook to g1. So as I said, it's not by a mistake by the computer, but I don't think it's a mistake. I don't trust the computer. Rook g1 is a great move. As I said earlier, that rook g1 is the idea to take the advantage of the whole file. The king is under immense danger. So bishop to f6 has played, which is marked mistake by the computer again, but I'm not sure why. I mean, yeah, I mean bishop. I mean, like, I mean, bishop g6 is one thing. Obviously, I was saying earlier. So, but yeah, so obviously, white will long castle, and now after queen e7, now bishop g6 has indeed been played. Tried to attack the rook. Rook goes to d8, and now bishop to c3, a5. So now black is like, I'm going to also start an attack, and Arjun is like, you know what? Be my guest. I'm going to go for some crazy attack here. Some, some d5, some crazy lines here. And black is like, okay, I'm gonna take your a2 pawn. It was hanging, so he's like, I don't care, bro. I'm just going for your king because now I'm going to go rook g1, double up the stack. Your king is under danger, bro. First look at your king, then you look at my king. This is basically what Arjun is saying, and here I guess Peter under time pressure. By the way, look at his time; he's just down to 1 minute. This shows that how much you are under pressure when you play against a legend like Arjun, and when he's in this position, like when he's attacking your king so much. Rook g1, king to h8, and now e4, and Arjun is like, you know what? If I push this pawn is going nowhere because it's stopped by this. But I'm going to push this pawn and this pawn. How are you going to even survive in this? So now rook f7, queen to d2, and now queen f8, and now d5, trying to push the pawns, takes, and now e5. He doesn't take back, which is a very clever decision by Arjun. You won't take back, you attack, you counter attack your opponent's bishop, takes, and now look at this move. Oof, oof, oof. What a move this is. e6, your rook. Look at the rook. Rook is gone. I mean, if e7, then you have this coming, buddy. Not now. Like not now. You have rook takes and then pawn takes and something like that coming very soon. Even queen takes is also fine. Look at this. And now after rook f6. You play e7. Look at this pawn. This pawn is a fearless. He doesn't fear this queen. He doesn't fear this rook. He like what is he even doing? Like Arjun is just smothering here his opponent. And after queen takes, my man Arjun sacrificed the queen. Yes, guys. Queen takes h6, and it's force mate. You can't stop the mate. And what a great gesture by Peter Prohaska. Like he allowed Arjun to complete the whole checkmate. And after h takes g takes h6, g takes h6. You cannot take because of the pin. You hang your king. So you won't do that, but you have to do it anyways. Now next move, queen h7, and now rook takes h7, checkmate. I mean, my man just went for it. Like, look at this, e6 first, and then this, and before this also, like at this point itself, like at this point, Arjun just said, I'm going for this, and this is my game. I'm going to play attacking chess. I mean, from this to this, what a game, what a beast Arjun is. Now the next game I will be showing you is of grandma. Like this game was insane. This game was bananas. Like this guy, this Pragnananda here. By the way, let me flip the board. This guy is the next Magnus Carlsen, and even Magnus Carlsen has accepted the fact. He literally said himself, like, after me, like whoever can be my next be the next Magnus Carlsen, be the next me, is going to be Pragnananda, because he has this talent of converting a losing position or even a draw position to a winning game. And this is what exactly happened. My man Pragnananda is playing against Tamas Banus, who is also a strong player. He's a 2600 grandmaster from Hungary B. I mean, from Hungary, but since he's playing for Team Hungary B, so yeah. Knight f3, d5. This is, I guess, this is the Indian game, right? Or yeah, King's Indian. Sorry, map. Like the whole entire Indian team are playing only the Indian opening. No other open. They are playing castles, and now e6, d3, trying to open up the bishop, and now knight to c6, a4, e7, bishop to e7, and now bishop f4, and now bishop to d6 has been trying to trade off this bishop. This bishop is a great bishop, by the way. Takes, and now knight d2, and now e5. Now Prague is like, okay, I have the center under my control. I'm going for e4. I'm going for not d4. D4 will be very bad. E4 is sounds very good, because now you will castle and try to go for the rook e8 idea, some rook open files. But white stops it. He plays e4. Now Prague plays d4, because d4 was necessary indeed, obviously. But before, as I was saying, not d4 now is not necessary. Like, let's say if the pawn is played like to e3, now you won't play d4, you will play e4. But if the pawn is on e4, now you will play d4. And now knight c4, attacking black's queen. Black goes to c7, and now c3, bishop g4, pinning the knight. And I mean, so far so good. So far black is just developing, creating some plans. Now bishop, now h3. Here black decided to chop up the knight, bishop takes, and now short castle. Queen to b3, now attacking, not attacking completely, but like the idea is like you will go a5, a6 at some point in future. So uh, g6 has been played, and now a5. As I said, the white's plan is a5, and king g2. I mean, good move, because now, I mean, I'm not sure why, but I guess rook h1 or something like that. h5, h4, rook to b7, and now rook to c1. Like both sides are just maneuvering, both sides are just making some development. Knight to d2, knight to c7. Like Prague is putting all these pieces into a better square. Like this knight is controlling this square already. This knight will come to a6, and I mean, also to e6 also can be played. The queen can come to f6. You can even play rook d6, rook f6. There are so many lines you can play, but yeah. Knight to f3, knight to e6, one of the moves, rook a4, and now b5, attacking the rook. I mean, you will just opposite on, obviously. Rook takes, attacking the queen. Now queen to a2. White is somehow like putting some pressure on this a pawn, but it's not really doing much. In fact, black has a better pressure on the b2 pawn of white. So now rook c2, defending the pawn. A5, and now knight d2 is the first mistake. Um, I guess I mean I guess the idea is you can go g5 now, because when the knight was on f3, it was controlling this g5 square. But now, since the knight has moved away, you can play g5, try to open up the king's side, and like g5 takes. You can take with the queen, so that you have knight f4 in future. So, but here Prag misses the idea. He plays rook b5, bishop to f1. You still have this move. You still can go for it. Prag plays queen f6, which is not a bad move. It's just, if the g5 was played, that would be more great. Knight f3. I guess Prag was in this mind that if I play g5 and if my opponent takes and I take back with the queen or even with the knight, I guess taking with the queen sounds very perfect. His king is also open, so but the problem for white is that white cannot attack this side now, because it will be very slow attack, because already these two pieces are controlling these five, so it's going to be very hard, very slow for the white to reach to that side. So king to g7, bishop to e2, queen to e7, and now bishop f1 again. Now I mean, now I'm not sure what you can play. I guess you can play queen d6, you can play queen b7. Queen b7 looks good, because now you want to try attack this knight, attack this pawn, keep pressuring this pawn. And queen b7 was indeed played by Pragnanda. Queen to d5, which is not a bad move, because if you take the pawn now, takes, you can take back because your knight is hanging, buddy. So c4, queen takes, and now rook c1, rook c5, attacking the queen, and also I guess winning back the pawn. I guess not. Look at the brilliant move. Look at this, knight b4. Oof, 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 oof. Oh, oh. You can't take because of this. So what a move found by Pragnananda. What a move. C takes, but I mean this was forced for white, so white has to take. Now knight takes pawn, but now it's still not easy for black to somehow convert this yet. The inside Magnus Carlsen hasn't risen up yet in Pragnananda. He will, because this is not completely an end game. An end game is when you have some pawns left, or maybe a pawn, or at least two or one piece. Here you both sides have already 3 4 pieces left. So I mean obviously black is a piece up now, but also yeah. Rook takes a5, queen takes a5, b4. So both sides are just playing something out. Knight c4, rook f7, queen to a1. Now you will. I mean, I guess you can just take. You can just take, and queen takes, and you can play rook b7 at some point, trying to still keep the tension. But okay, queen b7 takes, queen a8, and now you are threatening. Not, yeah, I mean threatening rook a1 obviously, because yeah. So queen goes to f3, rook a1 anyways, and now bishop to e2. I guess there was no need to even move the bishop. The bishop was completely safe. But yeah, bishop to e2, and now queen to a2. Look at this. Look at this. Now Prague is like, okay, enough is enough. Now it's time to be like Magnus Carlsen. If you have followed the team championship, or team, I guess, Pragnananda was playing under Magnus's team, and if you see a game he played against, whom did he play it against? I don't quite remember, but he converted the whole game. It was, I guess, drawing. It was completely a draw position, but he somehow managed to convert that game into the winning game. So, and Magnus was shocked. He was like impressed. So this is the right moment now for Prag to rise. So knight to d6, and now knight to d8. I guess the idea is to go knight c6, knight b4 ideas, and after king h2, um, queen goes to b1. You are threatening check, and I guess mate, not mate, but yeah, I mean somewhat, somewhat very close to it. King h3, And here I guess instead of check, I guess you can play knight. Yeah, knight here, or maybe I'm not sure. You can even play queen e1 just to keep the tension, keep the pressure building. But okay, check takes, king comes to g2. But also you are an exchanger, like you are an exchange. I mean, not completely an exchanger, but okay, rook knight versus a knight bishop is black can go for the win here. So rook e1, bishop to f1, and a knight to c6. Defending this pawn, although this pawn is not under attack yet. Knight comes to c4, knight to p4, f4, f6, and look at this. Look at how Prague just converts this. Like this is completely draw. Here comes the mistake. Oops. Because now here white missed rook takes d3. He thought that okay, I mean I will take with the knight. I mean Prague will take with the knight. I will go queen e2 and I'm going to win either of his pieces. But no, bro. You missed rook d3. Rook takes d3 and Prague immediately took the pawn. Bishop to f3, knight to a6, and now completely a pawn up. Prague is going to go for the win. He's winning this, and this is how, yeah. And Prague goes for the g3 pawn here. I guess best was to just take the knight, but yeah, you gave two pawns, and now after knight to e4, White simply resigned because you are two pawns up. Like Pragnananda is two pawns up now, and the knight is very active, very strong. You will next go knight c3 so that you can try to attack the bishop and try to win this pawn. So what a move! Not a move, but what a end game played by this Pragnananda. Like Indian Magnus, the young Indian Magnus. What a game! What a conversion by Pragnananda. He's a legend, bro. Anyways, let's jump to now the women's section. Vaishali Ramesh Babu is back, and she's playing against Ghazal Hakimi Fard. Wow, man! Wow, nice name. By the way, before I jump into the game of Vaishali, Indian men's team yesterday scored 3.5, 0.5, and they won against Hungary B. With this game ended in a draw, and it was not quite of. I mean, there was nothing much in that game, but yeah, but both sides played very good in that. So yeah, there was nothing much. So, but yeah, India defeated Hungary B, and India is undefeated so far. No one has no single defeat yet in the Indian team. So very good, very good. D4. So anyways, Vaishali started off with D4 in this game. Knight F6, Bishop to F4, D5. This is like a London game, right? I believe. Yeah, it's a London. It's a London game. E3, E6, Knight to F6, Knight to F3, Bishop to D6, and now you will go Bishop G3, I guess. Or even Knight E5 is also good. Castles, Knight to D2, C5, and now C3, trying to defend the center. And the center is much controlled by white pawns. So c4. So black is here trying to tell Vaishali that I will play the close position. I'm even happy with the draw in this position, but like yeah, you won't go for the draw, right? Vaishali started off with h4. She's just like I don't like to draw lower rated opponents, so I will just go for the win against you. So yeah, queen to c7, and now h5. Look at the pawn. Look at now g4 is coming at some point. G4, g5, h6, ripping open the king's side, and yeah, knight to d7, and now h6, g6 only move. I don't know why it's a great move. I mean yeah, it's a great move, but okay. I mean it's just kind of forced move. You don't want to open up your king side so early. Knight to f3. I don't know why it's a mistake. You're just defending your knight, and I mean yeah, I mean in fact this knight is also controlling this square up. So yeah, knight e4. So black is taking advantage of white's weak light square, so putting in the knight on e4, going to c2, and now b5, b5, a5, b4 is coming now for white. But now bishop e2, the idea is I'm not sure if she would try to long a short castle, because also long castle is also very risky, because now this attack is also coming. So I guess castling in this position is not very recommendable, but I'm not sure. If you want to play risky chess, you can castle. I guess a short castle is good, but yeah. But here white just simply grabbed the knight, and bishop takes, some trade happened, and now knight to d2, takes, and now this is like not yet an endgame, but it's a verge of the endgame. Like the endgame is about to start if more two or one pieces are traded off. And now black here made the first mistake. e5. Well, I guess the idea is if you take, you have long castle and you are trying to put the pressure on this pawn. This is what the idea is. Takes, but f4 played by Vaishali, which is also a great move. Queen to f6, and now king to f2. Like king to f2, I'm not sure why, but I mean, just oh, and obviously you won't take the t5 pawn because of bishop c6. So and you will lose back the g1. So king f2 is a risky level move, but now rook d8. I guess here you could have just gone for g5 ideas, maybe g5, or maybe I'm not sure, but or maybe you can just go for, let's say, bishop f5 and try to control this whole diagonal. Rook d8 and now rook d1, trying to put some more pressure here. Now you will play bishop f3, bishop to f5, and now queen to d4, which is a great move. You are trying to trade off the queen. Queen takes, rook d1, and now both sides, even though have the double stack on this d file, but this pawn is under immense pressure. You will play bishop f3. So, but here Vaishali played rook d2. I guess she didn't like bishop c2 at some point, but I mean even after bishop c2 she would have to play rook d2. So I'm not sure. a4 and now bishop f3. Finally Vaishali found this move, and now bishop e6 and now e is 4, because you cannot take. I guess you cannot take, right? Or you can take. I thought the rook was hanging, but takes and rook takes, and now bishop takes, and this is winning for white because hope you can see the arrows. Because of this piece, this hero right here, this hero is too late. Like let's say king, now it's black to move. King f8, king e3, king to e7, king d4, king d6, and I guess you can play then bishop d5, try to attack these pawns. King f8, and this is what exactly happened. Bishop d5. Now boom, king goes back, and now king c5. Look at this. Look at the absolute, like, look at the sacrifice here. Look at this move. Whoa, what a move. If you take, I'm going to promote. How are you stopping my pawn, bro? What? I mean, not bro, sis. Sorry. How are you stopping my pawn, sis? Look at this. Like, absolute amazing endgame played by Vaishali. Like, she played the endgame exactly like Prague. I mean, even though in this game she was already completely winning from the starting itself, but in the starting, by starting I mean the starting of the end game, but like the way she converted into a crushing win, like by sacrificing the bishop, because if you take, you promote. I mean, what a game by Shari. Amazing. She scored 1 point for Team India again. Now this game was also very interesting. Divya Deshmukh playing against Sophia. How is the surname pronounced? I'm so bad at this. Can you guys let me know in the chat if H is silent, or Rizlova? Sofia Rizlova. Okay, Sofia Rizlova. I guess this is the pronunciation. So d4 knight f6, c4 e6. This is the Indian game. As I said, Indian team players are playing on the Indian openings. Knight c3, bishop b4, e3, and c5. Breaking down the structure, you go knight e2. I'm so sorry. Yeah, d5 and a3, and now bishop goes back, and after takes, queen takes. This is already, you have reached a mid. I mean, this is a middle game, but once we say this, like once you traded off the queens, this is, you have started an end game phase. But I'm not sure if that's true. Let me know in the comment section. But yeah, Now knight d4. Look at these two bishops. These two bishops have no future, it seems like. But once this knight moves somewhere, this pawn moves. Boom. So knight goes. So knight d7. Now developing the knight, you would try to go for b6 idea. So, but c6 is be played, but you take knight takes, and now bishop b7. Here I would suggest you to I mean not here I would suggest, I mean yeah, I mean I guess you have to just take the knight. I take the bishop, rook takes, and bishop takes c4. I mean white is thinking like your c4 pawn was hanging, but black is like your g2 pawn is hanging, sis. Rook g1, and now bishop f3, which is a good move. You are cutting off the king's escape square. I mean, even though after, I mean, rook g3 can be played at some point, but I'm not sure. I mean, rook g3, but yeah, you always are threatening knight e5 for some, for some crazy rook d1 ideas, even though the knight is covering yet, but still in future. Rook g5, knight comes to g4, h3, knight comes to e5, targeting this bishop. Bishop goes to b5, pinning the knight, short castles, and now e3, e4 is a mistake, because you have f6, and then I guess you can try to go for knight c5 ideas. f6, rook comes to g5, knight c5. Indeed, um, this is threatened. This is threatened. Look at these squares. White has two weak squares. These light squares are very weak, and knight is controlling these two squares already. Bishop to e3, knight b4, knight b3, attacking the rook. Rook goes to b1, knight to d4, bishop to a4, and now h5. h5, h4 is coming. How are you going to defend your position with white? Already winning for black. Black is just like Divya is in her top form in this entire Olympiad. She's playing her best. She's converting the draw position into a winning game. Like that's just bananas. H4 is the first mistake. Can you guess why? Well, I guess you have f5, or maybe you have g5, g4, or like some crazy line. So f5, sorry, f5 is also one line which I said. Bishop h6 is not a threat because I mean I'm not sure. I mean bishop h like you have rook f7, but I'm not sure. Yeah, bishop g4. Sorry, bishop g4 also is a. I missed that. Sorry. Sometimes I can also miss, guys. Don't misjudge me. So I'm not a high level grandmaster or a title player yet, but I will be soon. So yeah. Now knight f3 check. King goes to f1. Takes, and now you go f4. Look at the demolition black is doing to white. These two pawns. How are you going to stop? Rook goes back. Knight to f3. Bishop to b5. So white is giving away the rook. But now you go check. King e2, and uh, now you are trying. I guess Divya was like, I guess I have a mate here, some f3 mate stuff or something like discovered check. And now king e1, and can you guys find the mate? It's bananas. Knight c2, e2, boom, cute pawn checkmate. And Sofia Rizlova allowed Divya to complete the whole check because I guess she was also very impressed by the checkmate with the pawn. It's very rare to you see grandmasters or not grandmaster like yeah, I mean grandmasters or international masters or like some title players in such a OTB to such a high event, highly organized event. You play such, you finish the game like this. Like this is just insane, mate. F3, boom. What a game by Divya. Divya is in her top form. She scored another win for her team. Now, this game is also crazy. Vantika Agarwal is playing some amazing chess throughout this event. She's playing in the third round, she's playing against Maria Manko, or WFM from Switzerland, obviously. D4, D5, and a Queen's Gambit. E6, Knight F3, Knight F6, so G6, G3. This is like a Catalan, I believe, right? This is a Catalan opening, I believe. Yeah, Catalan. I had studied Grandmaster Srinath's course, who is Srinath Narayan. If you don't know, he is the current coach of Team India, the men's open section, the men's team. So I have studied the course of Catalan opening, but I rarely played. But Bishop G2, and so far so good. White managed to win back the pawn. C takes D5 and now Bishop F4, cutting off some like controlling some diagonals. Knight D5 and now knight to D6 check, takes. Knight goes back and now knight to D2. This bishop is a very good bishop now, controlling this whole diagonal, two diagonals. Now pinning the knight also by the way to the rook. Going to B3, targeting the pawn. B6 and now rook C1. Look at this. This knight is pinned. This knight is pinned. It's the game of pin. Rook to C8 and now bishop goes to A3. Like this is a move which is like, I'm coming back to come two steps forward. It's like that move. Rook to E8 and now knight to E4. Knight D6 is coming, buddy. This square is absolute weak for black. Knight to F5. Even though you think, oh wow, I have knight F5, I'm stopping this square. But bro, I mean, I'm so sorry. Sis, I have G4, which was indeed played by Vantika. Knight H4 and now knight D6. And after knight takes bishop, king takes G2. Knight A5 is a mistake, and because you have queen F3, because now you are threatening this pawn. After bishop C6, bishop C6 is not a huge threat, because now in this position, my my friends, Vantika sacrificed the rook. Takes, knight takes, and now, and here queen takes F7. Even though computer thinks it's a bad move, for me it's a good move. King was there, takes, some trade happened. Rook bishop, rook knight. It seems like an Indian. It seems like a pretty equal endgame. But bro, bishop comes to D6. You have some pass pawns. Your king is very active. Like your king can jump, and yeah, your rook is coming on C1. So, and one thing indeed played rook C1, attacking the knight. Knight to E5, king to G3. Look at this, rook C7. Very good move. It's not a mistake, it's a good move, because you are controlling this whole rank and you are attacking the A7 pawn. A5 and now king F4. Knight goes back and now king D4, winning the pawn. Not winning the pawn, because you have E5, which was played, but now you have H4. You have some attacks coming. You have some attacks coming. You have some attacks coming. Some crazy. This king is absolute beast. Knight H8. Look at the knight. Look at the knight. Knight is doomed. Like like she wants to, like Maria wants to play knight G6 for attacking H4, but you always have H5. So H5 indeed played. Knight F7 and now bishop to E7. What a move! This is a good move. Um, because now after H6 you have F3, King H7, and now King D5. You are going to slowly chop down these two pawns. You have two pawns in the endgame trying to go for the win. King goes to G8. Now A4, stopping any B5 ideas. Rook to B6 and now King to E6. And now you are threatening some, Bishop A3 or some Bishop H5 ideas, or maybe even Bishop D6. So, and because now then your rook knight will under attack. Rook goes a8 and now rook b7 trying to attack the pawn. Rook goes to e7 thinking like I'm going to pin, but I have rook king d7. Rook a8, king e7 6, and now you take rook c8, rook a8, rook a6. This is just completely winning for look at now the pawn structures are completely damaged for black. This pawn is weak. Like this pawn is about to get captured. This pawn is about to get captured. This pawn is about to get captured. Three pawns hanging at the same time. King takes, king take, and look at this. Now you are just three pawns up, and after h6, this is just completely winning endgame. And also, by the way, you're winning another pawn because of this pin. With that, Black resigned the game. What a like Team India in women's section are doing absolute amazing. By the way, Harika's game I didn't wanted to cover because Harika lost the game. But I mean Alexander Kostenik played extremely well. She is a super strong player. But it's like, when your team player, when your home country teams, any one player loses, you don't want to feel like to cover his games. But when he or she wins, you want to cover his games. So that's like how I do. Whether you take it in the right way or whether you take it in the wrong way, I literally don't care. But anyways, these were the games, and by which now, yesterday, team India women, they won with 3-1 score against Switzerland, and I am very excited for today's round four. I'm not sure which against whom today the rounds four are. I have to check because okay, so round four is playing. Okay, wait a minute. I don't want to show you, like, I don't want to share everything now, but like I just want to like the screen I'm talking about. I'm sharing the news. So men's team is playing against Serbia today, and then Serbia, Alexei Sarana is playing. Alexandra Pretke is playing. Like, this is a strong battle today. India versus Serbia is a strong battle. Alexei Sarana is a very strong player, and it's going to be great. He's facing against Pragnananda. This is going to be the game of the day. And in the women's section, India is playing against France. France is also like Sophie Millet is playing. I know Sophie Millet, and I hope and she's playing against Vaishali Ramesh Babu. I hope this game ends in a draw because both both players are obviously my one of the favorite players. So, but yeah, I just hope this game ends in a draw. But anyways, that's all I had for you. I have for you for today. More round recaps will be coming soon. More videos like this will come soon because this whole Olympiad I will be covering, and I will make sure no contents has been missed. So, anyways, that's all. Get out of here.